Hello everyone, you are all welcome to lecture number 1126, and today's topic is the main objective of G20 summit which is holding in India in the year 2023. Many of my students and people, they ask what is the meaning of this G20 and about this summit. Actually, this the group of countries, powerful countries, that is called G. It started with G6. G6 means it was in 1970s when the serious crisis of energy, that is crude oil, petroleum, started, when Saudi Arabia and other oil producing Middle East countries, they put restriction embargo on those countries who were supplying crude oil to Israel, and there was big crude oil crisis. There was lot of increase in oil price and global economic crisis. Then the 6 countries, they met, that is America, France, Germany, Canada, United Kingdom, and they formed G6. And then later on in 1976, the European Union joined, it became G7, and then Russia joined, it became G8, and finally some other countries from Asia and other South American countries who were powerful in terms of their local, we can say, leadership, they were also included on the basis that their human right and democratic values are intact. So in that case, it became G20. G20 is the group of 20 countries, and they are managing 75% of the global population and 85% of the GDP, that is gross domestic product of the world. And actually this G20, how it started, I have already told you in 70s. Again another blow came, that was in 1997, 98, when it was currency crisis. In that crisis, it started from 1997 up to 1998, and it was from Thailand. And Thailand currency was crashed, and it spread to most of the Asian countries, including China, Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. Of course, India was there, but India was not much affected because of India's domestic saving. So it was a big currency problem and devaluation, economic problem. Then again in 2008, the economic crisis started from America, and it was a global problem. And today the same problem is going on because of Ukraine and Russia war. Global devaluation of currencies are there. There is shortage of food grain and energy. And you might be knowing that in Europe, in most of the countries, there is crisis of gas, that is in the form of energy. So total, if I can say totally, it is all energy crisis. And that is related to your economy. That is the serious issue, how to handle the global economy with energy. And here, let me make it very clear that whatever energy is produced on this earth, out of that, the 80% energy is consumed by waste. Waste means USA and Europe. And that is having 2 billion population. So 80% energy in the form of crude oil or in the form of petroleum or in the form of agriculture, all is consumed by 2 billion population, and rest 20%, in that 20% is your Asia and Africa. And that Asia and Africa is having 6 billion population. So there is serious crisis of energy shift, and everything is moving around the energy and new technology. And this energy and new technology with new type of energy, that is called renewable source of energy, like solar energy, like wind energy. And at moment in that summit, the discussion was mainly on green hydrogen energy. And green hydrogen energy is emerging as new type of energy which they are aiming to use. And let me give you some little information about the green energy. Actually, there are lot of color spectrum of hydrogen. In many literature, they are mentioning blue hydrogen, green hydrogen, yellow hydrogen, red hydrogen, gray hydrogen. So color spectrum of hydrogen is used, but actually hydrogen is hydrogen. So it is only why they are using different color spectrum is because of the processing, by what processing the hydrogen is produced and for what purpose hydrogen is used. So nowadays India is having the infrastructure to produce green hydrogen. And this green, why it is called green hydrogen? Because this hydrogen is produced from water by the electrolysis. Electrolysis of water. And for the electrolysis of water, what energy we are using? That is solar energy. So that solar energy is not emitting any greenhouse gases, that is carbon dioxide gases. That's why this production, this process of producing hydrogen out of solar energy, name is given green hydrogen. And this green hydrogen at present, India is having the full infrastructure it has developed, and the main thing for hydrogen is storage and transportation. For that infrastructure is created, and to my knowledge, very soon India will become the superpower in international supply of green hydrogen in the form of fuel. And that thing was also discussed, that how to multiply to make the production triple and transport this green hydrogen and biofuel to other countries. For that they discussed to have the infrastructure for ports and underground pipelines with the help of digital technology, artificial intelligence, and then connect the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, India, and going to Europe and America. That infrastructure was discussed, and that is the biggest, we can say, outcome of this summit, scientifically speaking, because there are a lot of other things were discussed. Of course, this G20 main objective is economy, currency, and energy, how to manage globally, so that there is no food insecurity, there is no energy insecurity, and how we can use the new technologies so that we can overcome, and how we can help the countries which are suffering, those who are in need. And they pulled $4 trillion to have such type of, we can say, platform to help the developing or poor countries. And in the next meeting, it is rotational. Every year it is rotating. So this year in 2023 it was in India. Next year it will be in Brazil. That is in 2024. In 2025 the summit will take place in South Africa. And again in 2026 they are going to have this meeting, the summit in USA. So to have this G20 summit in any country is not that it is a great thing, because it is rotational. Every country is going, those who are the member, 20 countries. And here there is one thing, for example, Nigeria was invited. But Nigeria is not the member of G20. Nigeria was invited by the Prime Minister of India, because Prime Minister of India was given this privilege to invite 9 of them. The real members are 19. And one member that is added there is European Union membership, that became 20, out of which most of those members came, but the Russian president did not come because he is having warrant due to the invasion of Ukraine. That's why, because of that political reason, he did not attend, and some other political reason, China did not attend. The reason is that this corridor, what it is created in that meeting, is the biggest thing done in the history to create such type of corridor to supply the energy. Everything is energy, firepower. And let me make it very clear. When I am talking of firepower, actually, if you go to millions of years ago, when the fire was discovered, fire was there, but discovery of fire means the human beings, they were living like any other animals. They were not able to control the fire. But some 40,000 years ago, they were in position to control the power of the fire domestically. So they started using for their domestic purpose to cook their foods. And once they started this firepower to cook their foods, then they started manufacturing different type of weapons. And then lot of gunpowder came, TNT came, lot of explosive came. And it was in 1200, the gunpowder, that is firepower, was ruling Asia and Europe. Gunpowder was discovered by China in 1200. That's why Genghis Khan and Mughals, they invaded India and so many other Asian countries, and they captured. Because it was just like today's nuclear firepower. So still, firepower is ruling this planet. Nothing else, in so many different forms. And other new type of technologies are also added, like digital platform, digital networking. Today, in the summit it was discussed, all the European countries and even including the American head of the state, they were very happy to see that India's digital networking and platform is super. Lot of thing is, they were appreciating. So India is already on top in terms of digital economy and digital infrastructure. In future, India is going to be the superpower in a renewable source of energy, and that is the use of green hydrogen. And India has already created the full infrastructure of storage and transportation. And for that, they are going to construct underground pipeline and ports, and then all the platforms just to transport to different countries. And Saudi Arabia and Middle Eastern countries, they are supporting financially to have such type of infrastructure. In that case, China is disturbed. That is the politics. Here I don't want to discuss, but since it is the part of energy discussion in the summit, China is not feeling comfortable. The reason is that China is left behind, and some 3-4 countries, they are not comfortable with China, like Australia. Australia wants such type of infrastructure linkage. Like Japan is not comfortable with China. in terms of military power and energy. India also is not comfortable like that. Some other countries, even America is not comfortable. So they join together, and all is nothing but around energy and new technology. So I am going to give some point, their objective, how they discuss one by one. So here are the objectives of the G20 summit in India in the year 2023, that was on September 8 and 9. And I am going one by one the objective of the summit. Number one objective was that how to triple, that is tripling global renewable energy capacity by 2023. By 2030 means they discuss at length how to triple the source of renewable energy by 2030 by using either green hydrogen or biofuel or solar energy or wind energy. Reduction of greenhouse gases, that was main emphasis was given on that point. And number two is launching of global green hydrogen and biofuel alliance. This point was thoroughly discussed, and also they agreed to have a corridor from Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and then going to other countries by laying the pipe and infrastructure, ports, seaports and airports, all these to create so that we can transport the green hydrogen from the source starting from India, because I have already mentioned that India is fully ready. It has all the infrastructure developed to supply, to transport, to store green hydrogen, and I have already mentioned the meaning of color spectrum of green. Number three, harnessing artificial intelligence. A lot was discussed about artificial intelligence, its different tool, different models, and how to use it for inclusive growth globally. And we cannot ignore this artificial intelligence tool nowadays. Number four is boost the access to use of artificial intelligence tools for economic growth, because now today I have already delivered almost 20 lectures, the basic concept of artificial intelligence, because nowadays it is all data war, data collection, data purification, data scientists. So everything is based on data and how to handle the data of every country, and that is very, very serious matter. It was discussed about the data issue and the stealing of the data, privacy of the data, everything that was linked to artificial intelligence. Then number five, inclusive and responsible digital transformation, because today India is on top in terms of digital transformation, digital infrastructure, and all the digital tools are there, and they are very much in use. And not only that, now India is having a major share of that is called digital economy. India is not getting much from agriculture. Now India is major, our source of income in terms of foreign exchange is from digital technology, information technology. Everybody, they are outsourcing. They are connecting with India from America, Europe, everywhere. And we are getting huge amount of money from this, that is, we call it digital economy. And in coming years, we are going to have huge money for exchange from green hydrogen. A renewable source of energy will be transported. So these are all very, very high-tech issue was discussed in that meeting. And on mass media, many of the people, they are not mentioning much about the deep inside what technology, new technology and chemistry or we can say energy was discussed. They are just discussing the politics. This one was pushed, that one was no. The serious issue was discussed, and corridor is created. It is already signed. They agreed. So it is a great thing. And even head of the state of America, he appreciated a lot. That I will give in write-up. Then that is digital transformation, including automation, robotics, and AI. Number 6, working for just peace in Ukraine. This was also discussed, that how to bring the peace in Ukraine, because Russia's unlawful war in Ukraine, they agreed, all the members of G20, that it is unlawful attack, war against Ukraine, and how to handle it, and how to bring peace in Ukraine. Number 7, delivering for food security. And the second very important point was discussed, globally there is food insecurity in many countries. 90% people, they are not getting food grain, including Nigeria. Nigeria's currency is devalued. Can you imagine today, when I am delivering this lecture, it is 11th of September 2023. I checked on Google, I found that $1 is equal to 935 naira. Can you imagine how Nigeria can survive? The masses, 90% population, is a serious issue of the food. And food production is not main thing. Affordability of the food. Even in India also, I am always saying that India is having up to 60 million ton of surplus food grain in their FCI, Food Corporation of India, go down. But are you sure that all Indians, they can afford food grain? No. It is not the productivity of the food grain. It is affordability. We must produce food so that poorest of the poor can afford one square meal. So today, because of this Ukraine war, it also aggravated the situation that lot of wheat, lot of edible oil, that is sunflower oil, is not exported outside Asia and Europe to Africa. So people are suffering. There are malnourished children in millions, army of children, they are malnourished. So this food insecurity is another serious issue. Energy also a serious issue. All these things were discussed in that summit. That was a G20 summit in Delhi, India. Delivering for food security, how to address food security crisis globally to avoid further food shock. There is electric shock, there is injury shock, and there is food shock. People are not getting one plate of rice in Nigeria. I am telling the truth. Because I am with masses. I am with millions of the people I know. So this is serious issue. Number 8, global health challenge. There is serious challenge of health, including America and Europe. Here actually, when we are talking of health issue, I am proud to mention that the cheapest health treatment is in India. I have mentioned several times, again I am mentioning, just for open heart surgery, cardiac problem, if you are going to Europe and America, in America it costs 80 to 90,000 US dollar. In England it costs 25 to 30,000 sterling pound. In India it costs only $6,000. Nothing. Go to any other type of ailments like any organ, the surgery of liver or lung or kidney transplantation, all these things, just within 4 to 5,000 US dollar, and that costs up to 100,000. So now lot of American and European who cannot afford there for this organ problem, they are coming to India to have the surgery. So in that case, I am proud to mention that India has gone a long way in healthcare sector, and really they are doing quality job. and cheapest in the world. Then global health and tackling up narcotic challenge also was discussed. Cocaine, heroin, lot of narcotic drugs. They are passing here and there, and lot of population, they are becoming addict. It's a serious issue. So that one also they have to handle with the coordination. So all these factors were discussed and they agreed upon and they signed the memorandum, and these are all objectives. So it was very, very successful meeting, but everything was around energy, around food, around security, around technology, around artificial intelligence, digital platform, green hydrogen. This was the summit, G20 of 2023 in India. So with this, I will stop. So with this I will stop, and I have tremendous confidence and hope, not in human being much, but in technology, today's technology. And today's technology and chemistry we can say wipe out the food crisis and poverty from this planet. Thank you very much for watching the lecture.